welcome to me time. I'm good. I've been meaning to do a video about chlorine for a while now. It's one of my favorite songs off of Trench. There's so much imagery and symbolism in the lyrics and in the video, so there's so much to discuss with chlorine. But the biggest question I had after I first saw that video that I haven't quite been able to answer myself is, who is Ned? Let's talk about our favorite swimming pool gremlin. Terrible in flavor. I just realized what's going to be interesting about this video is seeing how much of me you can actually hear and how much of the audio is just going to be cicadas. Now before we get into Ned, I want to talk about the swimming pool. The pool itself is a clever combination of two metaphors, water and chlorine. One old metaphor Tyler's been using since well before self-titled, and one metaphor, a new one from Trench. Water is symbolic of two major things, cleansing and death. Yeah, it's gonna be this heavy the whole time. I didn't mean to say heavy. I mean, I did, but you get me. We're gonna get deep. Tyler talks about the cleansing abilities of water a lot. Think addict with a pen. I'm lying here just crying, so wash me with your water. A little less blatant a reference to water can be found in Taxi Cab. We're driving toward the morning sun, where all your blood is washed away and all you did will be undone. Washing and cleansing with water is an important symbolic act in Christianity in many ways. And I'm going to bring up religion this once because Tyler did explicitly refer to and write about his faith during the self-titled era, and therefore it's largely influenced how the metaphor is used today. There's baptism, a ritual cleansing with water to purify you and dedicate yourself to God. There's holy water that priests use to bless things and repel evil. There's even foot washing, the ritual practice of cleansing one another that's practiced by Jesus in the book of John, where he encourages his apostles to do the same. Baptism and foot washing make the most sense in the context of addict and taxi cab. The emphasis is on washing, cleansing, ridding yourself of sin or any darkness, uncleanliness. Water as a destructive force is seen a lot too. In March to the Sea, he refers to the sea everyone is walking toward as their ocean graves. In Anathema, he is caught underwater, screaming at what he thinks might be an empty sky. In Lovely, he says, it's hard to tell the difference between blood and water these days. Most recently, in Chlorine, he tells us, I've been tested like the ends of a weathered flag that's by the sea. The polarity of Tyler's references to water is very characteristically Tyler's writing. He's known pretty well for his black and white thinking. Something or someone is either all good or all bad, one or the other, very little in between. The water either saves him or destroys him. In this new metaphor, chlorine is used in the same way. A bit about chlorine, it's the second lightest halogen, a pale yellow-green gas at temperature, a strong oxidizing agent, and highly toxic gas. It's a gas. You can't sip straight chlorine. You know what isn't a gas, and you can, but you really, really shouldn't sip? Hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid is just water and chlorine combined. Think pool cleaner. Hydrogen chloride is most widely used for it. Hydrochloric acid is also used for household cleaners like bleach, building construction, drinking water purification, paper production, the pickling of steel, neutralizing waste streams, and to manufacture PVC, which is what a lot of medical containers like blood bags are made out of. Right away, you can see all of the ways in which hydrochloric acid is relevant to the song Chlorine. Can you build my house with pieces? I'm just a chemical. Maybe not the chemical, but if we mix you with water, we absolutely can. Now you double as a paper maker. The moment is medical. And pickling steel? That's to remove rust or iron oxidation from iron or steel before processing. So like, rust around the rim. So hydrochloric acid is super useful for a lot of things, but like chlorine gas, it's incredibly toxic. Concentrated hydrochloric acid forms acidic mists. Both the mist and solution have a corrosive effect on human tissue, with the potential to damage respiratory organs, eyes, skin, and intestines irreversibly. Now vapors are heavier than air. They spread along the ground and collect in low-lying, poorly ventilated areas. I could take the high road, but I know that I'm going low. Maybe you shouldn't do that. Also, low-lying, confined areas, oh, so basements. I hope that they choke on smoke because I'm smoking them out the basement. Got it. So, both water and chlorine, along with a combination of the two, can be helpful and harmful. Water can be used to wash, but also to drown. Chlorine can be used to clean, but it can also kill you. What does this mean? Well, the speed is a chemical. It's this music that helps him sanitize, that helps him work through his fears and insecurities. It's medical in that it cleans his mind of all of the darkness, the fear and anxiety that festers in there. This doesn't mean I lost my dream, it's just right now I've got a really crazy mind to clean. Okay, now that we know this, I would like to talk about Mr. Ned Bayou, my favorite fuzzy little pool gremlin. What do we know about Ned? He's adorable. We know that. It's important, I swear. We also know that he thrives in water. Well, in clean water. In a properly chlorinated swimming pool, to be exact. When Ned finally jumps into the pool at the end of the chlorine video, he grows horns. He blossoms in water and chlorine. I think it's safe to assume that in the water and chlorine metaphors, Ned is solidly associated with the purifying interpretation. Now, before I go any further, I want to say that I know Tyler has said that Ned is not a part of the Banditos in Trench storyline. This is separate, outside of the literal realm and location of Trench. However, like with Blurryface, the things that he represents, or I believe he might represent, are everywhere in Trench. And when I refer to Ned in Trench, it's in the same way that I refer to Dima or the bishops being Blurryface. Same themes, different characters. Excuse me, Mr. Pilot, can you go away? It's Tyler. Stop interrupting me. I'm busy exposing you. Now, stick with me, because there's a lot to discuss here. In chlorine, Tyler seems to be coming back to something or someone he hasn't seen in a while. So where are you? It's been a little while. I'm sorry I forgot you. Let me catch you up to speed. Is he talking to us? To Ned? But if Ned is so important, why has it been so long since Tyler's talked to him? How could he forget Ned? Where has Tyler been? Well, think about the Blurryface era. He created a name, a face, and a seat across the table for his fears and insecurities, and threw himself into dealing with it head first. If we connect Blurryface to Trench, the things that Blurryface represents are the things Dima represents. And in that context, he's been in Dima. That feels like a given, right? He's been in Dima a lot. Remember the 5 flowers in the Nico and the Niners video? The 5 albums, 5 escape attempts, 5 times he was returned to Dima, and the cycle has repeated itself. But there's an important detail about the Blurryface era that only recently occurred to me, and it's a big one. Oh my god. Please, Mr. Joseph, I'm trying to expose you. What's the one thing that Tyler wore at every show, in every video, during that time? What's the thing the bishops are known to do to people who escape Dima? What have we seen them do to Tyler? The black paint. He was smeared. Clancy talks about being smeared in one of his letters, and what he says about it and its effects is extremely important, and we've seen it happen. The only significant light I've seen has been in the eyes of those smeared. Such a curious sight to see bright eyes strangled by the darkness of a bishop's hands. As their penance fades, so does their memory of something more. So, when you're smeared, you forget. I'm so sorry I forgot you. That's even an idea that's referred to on the Blurryface album. Don't forget about me. Hope you haven't left without me. If Ned, and by extension the things that he represents, are in Trench, that could explain why Tyler forgets about him. Why it's been so long since Tyler has seen him. It could even explain why it takes a lot of chlorine to clean Ned in the video. He's been away for a long time now. And it's gonna take a bit more than just some water from a hose to clean him back up. And that brings me to my hypothesis, my theory. I think I have enough evidence to back this one up, but again, this is my thoughts. If Blurryface is the personification of the dark parts of Tyler's psyche, his fears, his insecurities, anxiety, and depression, then I believe Ned might be the personification of the parts that he does like. Creativity, purpose, faith. Something that's interesting to me is the only other time where we've seen Ned outside of chlorine is the hype. In that video, he's in a cute little flannel shirt being held by a fan in the crowd. Her name is Ruby, and I think that's beautiful. In my video about the hype, I hypothesized that everything we see via the screen on Tyler's chest is important to Tyler, namely the click and the music. But the video is the first time that we've seen Ned outside of the context of chlorine and swimming pools. And if it's a visual representation of what matters to Tyler, a crowd of 21 Pilots fans singing and cheering the boys on while they're putting on a little rooftop show. A show. My creativity is only free when I'm playing shows. And speaking of Blurryface, it makes a lot of sense that we haven't met Ned before now. The Blurryface album was one giant deep dive on only the dark parts of Tyler. Of course Ned's not there, he's too pure. If the things that Blurry represents are in Dima, then it's safe to assume that the things that Ned might represent would be in Trench. That's why Tyler forgot him. He's been in Dima the whole time. He's been smeared. His memories of Trench and everything it represents had been wiped. Blurry and Ned aren't in the actual place Trench, or Dima, along with the Banditos and Bishops, and that actually strengthens my theory that this is what Ned is meant to personify. You know how during the Blurryface era, we knew when Blurry was present in videos because of the red contacts that Tyler wore? Think stressed out and fairly local, the low-pitched voice, that's how we knew he was around in the music too. Even the black paint, now that we can associate that with being smeared, we can infer that that was also a clue where Tyler was, and if Blurry was with him. And Ned. I think he might be the Trench era contacts. He's the clue we've been given, our reference point to where Tyler's at, mentally or literally. If the red eyes and black paint are representative of Dima, I think Ned is representative of Trench. He's in a place where he's freer, where he's able to think and create. He's in touch with his purpose, his faith, his people, the Banditos, the Clique. And it makes a lot of sense. Tyler's been a lot more interactive this era, much less a character on a stage and more just himself. It's less performative. He's not embodying a character representative of his darkness. He's Tyler. Clearly this isn't a cycle that's going to end anytime soon, or ever, knowing Tyler's own thoughts on the matter. But honestly, this is progress. Blurryface as an album is a big deep dive on everything Tyler doesn't like about himself. It's dark, it's scary, it's heartbreaking at times. For Tyler to personify the good, create a character that represents the good in him and share that with the world, that is a big step. Being caught and smeared and brought back to Dima isn't a reflection of his character or his morality, and I really hope that Tyler is realizing that. It's healthy to reflect on and be aware of your flaws, but it's even more healthy to acknowledge that you've got some good in you too. I know who I truly am. I truly do have a chance. That's just a theory. I'm trying not to get my camera wet. A Clique Theory. What are your thoughts on Ned? Do you think he's like Blurry, a personification of something? Is it Tyler? Something or someone else? Let me know. I have one more very big album theory lined up, and though I know I still have way more questions about Trench after that wraps, I want to know what you have to say. Do you have theory requests, comments, concerns? I have a lot of concerns. Oh my god. Mr. Pilots, please stop. I'm almost done. I also wanted to mention that this past Sunday, I did my first live stream since coming back. I did a poll on YouTube and on Twitter recently asking when is the best time for you guys to tune into a live stream and just kind of hang out, maybe talk about theories, maybe talk about whatever. We got very sidetracked last time and I'm not mad about it, so. The poll told me that weekend evenings were the best time and Sunday nights work best in my schedule. Also, there's a lot of mentions of Sunday being terrible in 21 Pilots lyrics, so I think it's very symbolic and we should absolutely hang out on Sunday nights. But let me know if that works out for you. I want to see how many people would actually feasibly be able to hang out on Sundays. Not every Sunday, maybe like once a month, maybe the last Sunday of every month, or the first. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. One last order of business. Last year on Twitter, I started #LettersForTrench. It seemed to kind of die down after I left, but I desperately wanted to bring it back because I loved it so much, so I created a Tumblr blog for it. The link will be in the description. You can submit all of your Trench-related creations, fan art, photography, poetry, prose, anything. It'll be posted and shared with the Clique. I'm gonna go swim. Bye.